Hey everybody, welcome into the studio. I'm Andy. Today we're going to learn how to make a vocoder in Ableton Live. Hi Boomer. And so if you've got that, whip it out, get ready. I'm going to show you, this is the sound. This is my vocoder sound. It's very robotic in 1973. So really basic vocoder sound. I'm going to show the whiz kids how to do this real quick, and then I'm going to break it down for everybody else slow style because it's kind of complicated. But okay, you got a couple of channels to do the actual vocoder. It just takes two vocal channels that are on and a synthesizer channel that's kind of off, right, as far as what you can hear. But your vocal channels are clean. If you're in production already, that's fine. Just make sure they're duplicate waves. Your first one will be just like unaffected, just reverbs, whatever your normal stuff is. The second one has the vocoder plugin from Ableton, as you can see here. The third one is a synthesizer, which for this one comes from Ableton as well. It's the analog emulation keys. Just search for it. You'll find it right up in Ableton. And the way this works is, like I said, your vocal channel is normal. It's really running alongside. It's so you can hear a little bit of your normal voice. The vocoder channel, we have the carrier set to the next channel, the Voc Synth channel. I did increase the release a bit, and bands is set to 16. There's a limiter before it, pulling the gain down because there's no control on the plugin. The synthesizer channel, you do want to turn that off, but if you want to hear what it sounds like, it's this. And again, you mute that so that the robot, because that's your robot voice. If you change that to a different patch, it'll sound different. But you mute that so that your robot voice really comes out. And then there's more tracks that round out the sound. So the rest of it is just a pad, another pad, and a piano. And that's the whole sound. So, whiz kids, there you go. You've seen it. Take off. Go make something cool. Now, for the rest of us, let's talk about, like, dude, what just happened? What did I just see? You sound like a robot. Yeah, that's pretty much, you're taking your voice, running it through a synthesizer, and at the same time telling that synthesizer, like, what to play. You're like, dude, that sounds like sampling, and it does sound like sampling. It also is kind of like just playing a MIDI instrument. It's like playing a sampler with a MIDI instrument, isn't it? Yeah, and you're sampling your voice, but there's something quite different and magical about the vocoder in the way that it just kind of keyboardizes your voice, if you can say that, But so let's look in Ableton. Sorry for the reverb, etc. There's pull that out of there. That's on the vocoder channel, which I'll break down for you in a minute. I guess it's because that's on. Doesn't need to be. I could just leave those right where they were. Pro audio guy. So we have, ignore this stuff to the left of this vocal channel. We have vocal channel, a duplicate of that channel, and then a synth channel, which is, we'll call that the carrier. You'll find out about that in a sec. And then we have pad, a piano, another pad. So these three green channels here kind of round out our sound. This is our blue one, is our carrier set. It feeds the vocoder, but we don't actually listen to it while we're playing. And then the vocoder, and then our live channel, what we hear. Okay? Easy enough. So let's turn off all the extra sounds first. There we go. I have an options thing turned on in my options file, which turns on record enable when you select stuff, so you'll see me turning it off. The vocoder also kind of digs into the CPU, it seems like, after I leave it on too long, so you'll see me turn it on and off as well. That's why. So, again, vocal channel, vocoder channel, synthesizer, and then our extra sounds. So you just heard what this synth sound is sounding like. That triggers the vocoder. And the vocoder is just using my voice as I'm talking into it. And as I said, if you were already in production land, it looked like this, and you had wave files here, same thing, all the same things apply. The waves files would be identical, much as my voice going into these two channels is identical. They have the same thing. So the way it works, as I turn that, I'll turn the vocoder back on so we can get rid of those echoes. So with the vocoder on, you don't hear anything of my voice out of that channel. Let me turn off my mic. And See, you can't hear until the vocoder's turned down too, because it's a really hot plug-in, it seems like. But when I turn this on, my voice goes away. Oh my God, I'm gone. So what we need to do is play music through this, which we will do with this keyboard next door. So like so. Where's my channel? So we'll do that with the keyboard next door. Let me turn the mic off again. Vocoder on.
Now when I play something, you can hear my voice. Yeah. We're a robot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's all it takes. We're now a robot. Yoo-hoo. And that's your robot. So again, we set that from this little area on the vocoder. What are we looking at on this vocoder plugin, right? Well, first of all, what are we not looking at? We don't see any control for like volume or gain. There's a dry versus wet, but that's all. And so when I was initially using this, I'll turn this limiter off. Then I'm brought back down. See, that just went to red. Look over here. Watch these little meters. I'm not really even blowing, but it went to red. Then I'm brought back down to all the places. So I was like, wow, this thing's pretty hot. So I put a limiter before it, and I pull that down -3.2. And that, pulls the signal down before it gets to the vocoder and prevents this from overloading itself, basically. So that's where we are. Vocal channel, then we have the vocoder. On this thing, it gets its audio from. So we can tell it can get its audio from it. It can be noise. I think this is the default. You can hear the difference there. But we want it to be coming from another channel, so we'll say external. And it's set to Vocsynth, which is right. So if we're playing a note, then we're hearing that robot voice. If we don't hold the note, we don't hear the robot voice. Now, what if we made it a different sound? All right, let's try that pad. This pad sound by itself sounds like this. Which has a soft attack and it's ringy and spacey. It's not going to work as well with the vocoder, but this is what it sounds like. And so, yeah, you can tell there's not so much definition. What if we change that to be the Juno pad? So that sound has even less attack. So the best one that we've had is really this vocoder one right here. Like, which that doesn't sound, oh, that's the vocoder. And so that works good because it has a fast attack, a fast release, and it gives enunciation, and so then we end up with a robot, like, where are we at? Doo-doo, that's record armed, it doesn't, but turn that on, and there's our robot. Where are we going through our vocoder, though? Yeah, we're in Juno still. I'm like, that didn't sound right. Change that to Vocsynth, and there's our normal robots back in effect. Cool. So, how simple is that, right? Did you get it? Vocal channel, duplicate vocal channel, MIDI channel, like a keyboard or something. We call that the carrier, and the carrier feeds our vocoder. That makes our vocoder sound, but we want to mute that third channel, that synth channel. We don't want to hear it because it's going to get confused with the actual vocoder robot voice, because those will be the same sounds. They'll muddy each other up, right? So mute that channel. As you can see, I have it muted always right here. And then if you want to add some more stuff to kind of round out the sound, that's where, I've added more stuff. I added these pads and piano. And that's where I end up with my final overall sound. Sometimes I feel I'm thinking at a rate that's far too fast. La da 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 da, I'm a robot. Whatever notes you play, that's the notes you'll hear. So you can hear I'm just speaking, but it's coming out in a pitch. And that's a vocoder. It's how they work. It's fancy stuff, but it's fun. I've written only one song in 20-some years of writing songs, more years than that. But, it's not something you want to use all the time. But the right application, it certainly is a head turner. It gets your attention when you hear it. And, it can be kind of cool. So anyways, that's how you make a vocoder. Let's hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, just ask a question or whatever. I don't know. Cheers, man. Have a great day.